Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be working in the front. There are two beds that I just want to work on. These beds are constantly evolving. As plants start to grow in, sometimes we might get bored of it, or we don't like where it's at or how big it's getting. So we're constantly moving things around in these two beds. But I did notice it needed a little bit more color, so I thought it'd be fun for you guys to see these two beds evolving with us. I have a mishmash of plants that we'll be planting in today, and I just thought it'd be fun for you to come along. Let me turn my camera around and I'll show you what plants we have today. Okay, so this is one of the beds we're going to be working on today. I'm going to be taking out this penistem. It always flops over like this, and I know it's been raining, but even when it's not raining, it just gets so top heavy that it just falls over. So I gave it a whole year and it's just not thriving, so I'm going to dig it up. I'm going to leave it in a nursery container and just kind of try to revive it. I have this beautiful, I think this is a burgundy salvia over here, and that's just one plant. Look at how big it is. And that was in a 1 gallon container last year. So anyways, I'm going to add these two geums. And I'll throw up the name of all of the plants on the screen for you guys. We're going to be adding these two geums here. I just have some Cosmos. I have this beautiful Invincibelle ruby hydrangea from Proven Winners. I'm super excited about this guy. Now this salvia here has a little bit of a powdery mildew, and it happens every year. But what I'm going to do is just take it down. I'm going to spray it with copper fungicide, and I think it will be just fine. I just noticed that the copper fungicide works the best for me when it comes to powdery mildew. Back here there was a red twig dogwood that we planted in last year. So this whole bed, everything here is new. This is all 1 year growth. Isn't that incredible? So I'll throw up some pictures of some befores of what this bed used to look like. But this red twig dogwood that we had there started to grow really low, and it almost looked like an octopus. So I'm not sure what happened, but I dug it out. I went and picked up another one to plant over there. And then I have this beautiful Sunfire Coreopsis, and I just think it's going to look so beautiful. It's just going to add like a pop of bright yellow and just kind of bring up all of the other colors that are in this bed. So I'm super excited for that. Look at this beautiful, I think this is an Alicia Amherst Hebe. This thing is huge, you guys. And I got it at Al's last May, and it was in a 1 gallon container, and this is how big it's gotten. And I trim it back, it looks beautiful all year round. I love this Hebe. So over here we have just another Cosmo. We have some more Coreopsis over here. I am going to grab a couple more plants to put over here. Look at this beautiful gardenia blooming. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Those are my favorite flowers. Oh, so gorgeous. It's been raining, so the salvia kind of toppled over, but that's okay because I need to cut it back anyway. So we'll do that. We'll get some more plants to add over here in the back. I think that's it for this bed. Let me show you the other one. Okay, so in this bed, we're going to start off by just cleaning up all of the hostas. I know a lot of people get hostas for their foliage, but I actually really do love their blooms. I just love the vertical interest that the blooms provide. But I am going to put more geums over here. I have this coleus that I want to try out. It's just like this bright pink, gorgeous coleus. I've never planted it before, so we'll see. We'll find a spot for it. I think I am going to dig up that Angelina sedum just because it's kind of in a random space, but I don't know. I love sedums, so I just put it there, but now I'm not loving it. I have some yarrow, a couple more things to plant on this bed. I have this beautiful purple osteospermum. Look at the flower on that. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the spikes down on our heucheras. I just wanted to show you guys This was in a 1 gallon container as well last year, and look at how huge it got. And actually I already cut the blooms down from this one, but look, they're shooting up new ones again. So I'm just gonna leave it, for until they're spent, and I'll use it in an arrangement. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave the Angelina sedum alone just because there's so many bees all over it and I want them to be able to have that. I am gonna come in and just lightly trim up some of our maple just because I really don't like this leggy situation that is going on here. I trim this guy back every year and it just comes back bigger and bigger. It's crazy. And then we'll go over here to our little clematis garden. So these clematis I actually put in last year, and look at how huge it got. So there's just two, there's one on each side, and they were in a 1 gallon container. And again, just look at how massive it got. And this thing just looks so beautiful in early spring. It just has like, it's all white. It's so gorgeous. I have a couple, let's see, I have a couple of echinaceas here. One died over here, so I might need to add it. I've cut back the lavender because it was getting a little leggy because it was a little bit, there's too much shadow over here. I think I'm gonna remove the salvias just because, I don't know, I'm not loving them over here, and I think I wanna put a rose here and on this end as well. So that's what I'll do. But let me go get some more plants in the back. I'll set up my camera and we'll get started. Okay, I have my quick on-the-go drip kit. We're going to be tapping into our drip system and adding some drip to some of the new things we're going to be planting today. We also have my magic powder, also known as the Biotone Starter Fertilizer by Espoma. I actually have these 3 pineapple lilies. I picked them up. They were on sale. I think it's a little bit late to plant them, but we are going to see if anything happens. I love these. They're so beautiful. They just have like this single spike. The first year usually they have a single spike of flower, and it's just like a really nice thick stalk, and it lasts for a long time. I have a couple of roses. I have my pop-up bag from Fiskars. I have my Fiskars because we're going to be cutting back some things today. And lastly, but most importantly, I have my water. So let's get started. Okay, so now we're going to be adding drip to all of the new plants. So on this bed, we have this 1-inch tubing going, kind of making a wave around the bed. So each plant that we have, we add a new emitter to, which, you know, now that we know or are learning more about drip system, I think I would have rather done it a little bit differently, just because now every time we add something, we have to tap into the drip and, you know, connect an emitter directly to that plant. But at the same time, different plants have different requirements, so there is a trade-off to it. So I could just put an emitter right here, just punch a hole and put an emitter right here. But I like my emitter just to go a little bit higher. I don't want it to be this deep, just because we're gonna have to add more mulch to this area. So I'm going to be connecting, I'm going to just take a piece of this 1/4-inch tubing. I'm going to connect it to here with a barbed connector, and then we'll put the emitter right at the end. So I'm just going to use this little punch tool. Just like that. And then I'll connect it. Like that, and then I'll connect the emitter to the other end. Actually, we'll do a 1/2 inch or a 1/2 gallon per hour emitter for these guys. And then I just punch it into the hole, just like that. And then I'll use a garden staple, and I'm just gonna wrap it around the plant. Show you guys. I'm just gonna wrap it around the back here and have it kind of peeking out right over here. And then I'll just use this little staple to tackle it down like this. And then I'll do that to all of the plants that we have. So yeah, I already got some of them done. Now let me show you what I'm gonna do for the hydrangea. Okay, so for the hydrangeas, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I like to use these spray stakes just because they can emit a lot of water, so I can adjust how much or how little water a plant or a tree needs. It can go up to 20 gallons per hour, so I like to use this for plants that require more water like hydrangeas do. So I'm going to be using this for that. So let me cut a piece of tubing, of our 1/4-inch tubing. Just like so. And again, I will put a barbed connector at the end. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to put the barbed connector here. And then I will punch a hole. Right there. And I'll connect it. And then you just connect it to this right here. You want to make sure it's nice and snug. And then I just opened it a little bit, and we'll see how the drainage is. And then I'll just staple it down. Just like that. All right, look at how pretty everything looks right now. I think this bed looks so much better. So the drip still is exposed because I am gonna have to go get more mulch to put in this bed. But that way I can also see the water coverage when I turn on the drip. So I'll just leave it exposed for today, or maybe a couple of days until I get the mulch and until I can see how much water everything is getting. Now I did spray some of this copper fungicide. to our salvia, which is looking a little sad right now, but it will bounce back. It usually does this, so I just cut it all the way down and sprayed it, so it'll be just fine. In a couple of weeks it'll start bouncing right back. But doesn't this bed just look so much better? I think just this pop of color, it's just, I don't know, it adds so much more life to it. And of course this bed is always going to be evolving, and I will add and take things out, just, you know, as the years go. And you did see me backfill a lot of the holes today with planting soil, just because when we got this house a couple of years ago, this area was just like pure clay. So we really had to work hard to amend it. We've used a lot of compost, gypsum, just to kind of amend the soil and help break it up. So we're getting there, but it still needs a little bit of work. That's why I did use some of the planting soil to backfill some of the holes that we dug. But I think it looks so beautiful. Now there are a couple of areas here that I will need to run to the nursery to pick up a couple more plants. This area is looking a little bit empty, so I'm gonna get something for here. I'm not sure yet, so if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. And maybe something a little, I don't know, maybe something short right behind this Cosmo. And then I planted the Coleus right here, and I just planted all three of them together, and I'm just really excited to see how big they get. It is a new plant for me, or a new variety for me, so that's what I kind of like to do. I like to try out a new variety of plant in one area before I go all out and buy a bunch of them. So I'm really excited to see how that is going to perform. Now this area needs a little bit of work too. I am gonna run to the nursery, like I said, and pick up something to put in this area and cut back this blue juncus grass. Isn't this thing just massive? I cut it down every year and it just comes back more vigorous. But I think we were gonna do the second bed today, but because it's getting a little bit late, I wanna run to the nursery just to make sure I can pick up a few more things for that bed. So we'll do a part 2 of today's video for you guys. But yeah, I think it looks really pretty. I think just this like added pop of color just really brightens things up. And I'm really excited to see how this bed just fills in. All right guys, well that's it for today's project. I hope that was fun to kind of see these beds evolving. I think it looks a lot better with all these pops of color. So I'm just really excited for everything to kind of grow in and take over. Like I mentioned, we might move some things around later on this fall. It just kind of depends. You know, we just kind of love, you know, that's the great thing about gardening. If you don't like something, you can always move it. So I'm a big believer of that. So if there's anything in your garden right now that you're not loving, you know, go ahead and just dig it up and put something else in there that you really do love. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.